بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. في محاضرة اليوم سوف نتكلم عن المتسامون، وهي محاضرة جزء من مسار الأدب الأمريكي عندما نتكلم عن الحركة الرومانسية الأمريكية. Transcendentalism was a literary movement that flourished during the middle of the 19th century, 1836 up to 1860. It began as a rebellion against the traditionally held beliefs by the English church that God superseded the individual. So when we talk about transcendentalism, we remember the Romantic movement, the movement which focused on the individual, the movement which focused on imagination, and the importance of individual over the group and society. It is a breakaway from traditions and religious institutions. This movement flourished during the middle of the 19th century, from 1836 up to 1860. It is a rebellion against the traditionally conservative held beliefs by the English church, which said that God is more important than the individual, and the individual should obey the religious institutions, even if they use the human being in the name of God. المتسامون هي حركة رومانسية أدبية ازدهرت في منتصف القرن التاسع عشر من عام 1836 حتى عام 1860. لقد بدأت كتمرد ضد الأفكار التقليدية التي كانت تؤمن بها الكنيسة الإنجليزية، والتي تقول بأن الله والدين أكثر أهمية من الفرد. Transcendentalism. It is a philosophical and literary movement emphasized living a simple life, stressed on a close relationship to nature, celebrated emotions and the imagination, stressed individualism and self-reliance. So it is a philosophical and literary movement which gave importance to the individual and emphasized more in living a simple life, and asserted a close relationship to nature. Nature is more important for the romantic. Imagination is more important than argument for the romantic. Idealism is more important for the romantic. Individualism is more important for the romantic. So stress individualism and self-reliance, that the individual should rely on himself. So Romanticism and Transcendentalism celebrated emotions, that individual can express himself without fear from institutions and without being monitored by religious institutions. Imagination is more important than anything else. المتسامون وهي حركة أدبية فلسفية ركزت على الحياة البسيطة، وركزت على العلاقة القريبة للطبيعة، وركزت على العواطف والخيال، وعلى أهمية الفرد، وعلى أهمية الاعتماد على النفس. It is a literary movement in the 1830s that established a clear American voice, projected American voice. Emerson first expressed his philosophy in his essay Nature, a belief in a higher reality than achieved by the human reason. Suggests that every individual is capable of discovering this higher truth through intuition. We can discover God through intuition, through knowing, and through nature. They believe in a higher reality, which can be achieved more than human reason. It is a literary movement which established a clear American voice, expressed by Emerson in his seminal and important essay Nature. Transcendentalism was heavily affected by the Romantic movement in England, led by Samuel Coleridge, William Wordsworth, Byron, Shelley, Keats. They believe in a higher reality. They focus more on imagination, idealism, nature, and individualism. They focus on the simple man. They don't focus on argument, reasoning, but they focus more on emotions. And they suggest that every individual is capable of discovering this higher truth through intuition and through nature. We discover God through nature, through His creation. They revered nature, worshiped nature, and its relationship to humanity. They had a philosophy of individualism, simplicity, and passive resistance to injustice. Many maintain the positive, optimistic, or rosy view of life. They focus their attention on the human spirit. They revered nature, respected nature, and its close relationship to humanity, and how human beings are close to nature. They had their philosophy of individualism, self-reliance, simplicity, and passive resistance to injustice. They maintained a positive, optimistic, and rosy view of life. They focus more on the human spirit, on the individual spirit. لقد قدسوا الطبيعة وعلاقتها مع الإنسانية. كانت فلسفتهم تعتمد على الفردية والبساطة والمقاومة السلمية للظلم وأنواعه. كان لديهم وجهة نظر بالنسبة للحياة متفائلة وإيجابية ووردية. ركزوا اهتمامهم على الروح الإنسانية، لأن الفرد هو أهم مكون في المجتمع. Transcendentalism is a reaction to rationalism and rigidity. Rebellion against rationalism and rigidity. Champion of reform, abolition, women's rights. When we talk about abolition, we talk about freeing slaves, abolition of slavery, and defending women's rights. They have the right to be educated, work, and live independent life, far away from restrictions, far away from violence. And transcendentalism is alternative to growing American materialism, where it flourished in New England, Concord, and who are most important writers, Emerson, Thoreau and Whitman. They are called transcendentalist writers. Emerson, in his important essay, Nature، إذا هي رد فعل العقلانية وللقيود الصارمة، هي تصدرت الإصلاح الاجتماعي ودافعت عن حقوق المرأة وعن حق في إلغاء العبودية abolition of slavery. تركزت في نيو إنجلاند في الساحل الشرقي لأمريكا، ومن أشهر كتابها إميرسون، تورو، ويتمان. بهيك أخذنا فكرة عن جوهر الحركة الرومانسية الأمريكية، تعرفنا على المتسامون وعلى فلسفتهم الأدبية التي تركز على الفرد وتركز على الجوهر وتركز على الطبيعة وتركز على الخيال، وترفض القيود الدينية وتقول بأن الإنسان يستطيع اكتشاف الله بنفسه ويستطيع أن يقوم بأعمال كثيرة بنفسه. أعجبتكم هذه المحاضرة؟ تنسوش تعملوا لايك أو الاشتراك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.